What do you think, Spurs fans? Could this be our next big three?
Go, Spurs, go, 'cause the Giants stink.
What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. Hope you're having a great week in TGIF. The NBA playoffs have been fire with some incredible finishes. But speaking of the playoffs? The Milwaukee Bucks got eliminated recently, and there's a lot of talk about now Giannis being traded off the Bucks to somewhere else. Of course, the Spurs are coming up a lot, so I figured, all right, let's address this again. So let me ask you, Spurs fans, and I'll answer in a few moments. Is trading for Giannis really possible? First, let's get into this article from The Athletic with a proposed trade scenario involving the New Orleans Pelicans. In this trade scenario, the Bucks would get, Zion's a big one, but from our Spurs, since that's our focus here, they would get Keldon Johnson, our first-round pick from this upcoming draft that's from the Hawks, so that's 14th overall as it stands. We'll find out May 12th. And then a 2029 first-round pick, I would assume that's unprotected. In this trade, the Pelicans would get Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sohan, so the pre-Wemby guys of Keldon, Devin, and Jeremy would be gone in this trade scenario, plus the Hawks 2027 first-round pick that we own that's unprotected. And the Spurs, of course, will get Giannis. So why wouldn't this trade, why it would and wouldn't work? So if the Bucks have no choice but to trade Giannis, they make a multi-team deal that gets a potential superstar to build around in the still just 24-year-old Zion Williamson and a rotational wing in Keldon Johnson. They get a whole lot of future firsts to give him a chance to rebuild if Zion can't overcome his history injuries. Yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in that, by the way. They put a stat in here somewhere. He's played like a very few. Oh, it's actually coming up. My apologies. The Spurs starting lineup next October would be De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Harrison Barnes, Giannis, and Wemby Twin Towers 2.0. I'm guessing Chris Paul would re-up for 1 or 2 more seasons as Fox's backup. I would think he would as well. If Giannis came to the Spurs, Chris Paul's eyes are going to be like, bing, bing, okay, we have a shot at a championship. I'll stick around and willingly accept a role off the bench for this. So we have a little reaction here from the GM here, Nem's mock GM reaction. They say, this is nowhere near enough for Giannis. Zion, while incredibly talented, is nothing more than a lottery ticket. In 6 seasons, he has played 214 of a possible 472 games and appeared in only 30 games last season. Any package for Giannis will need to be rich in both players and picks. And I agree with that. So let me get to my 2 cents. Is trading for Giannis really possible? Honestly, guys, I'm going with no. I'm going to give 2 reasons. Before you get in the comments like, you're crazy, it could happen. Let me explain myself. And maybe I am wrong. Believe me, if this happens, Spurs fans, I'd be the first to jump on here making a video like, okay, it happened. But here's why I say no. Whether it's a 3-team trade or a 2-team trade, my humble opinion, and I'm seeing this by other sports writers and analysis, if we're to get Giannis, pry him away from the Bucks, it's going to cost us Stephon Castle. Probably more picks too on top of that. Probably a lot more picks. And I don't know if the Spurs are willing to part with potential in Stephon Castle versus established in Giannis. That's a very risky proposition. Maybe more so even for the Bucks. You know, you're taking a rookie of the year, but you don't know what his ceiling and floor is at this moment, whereas you know what you got with Giannis. So I don't think that works on either end. Maybe it does, but the biggest issue I have with this trade is the salary cap. The salary cap next season is going to be about $155 million. The luxury will be $188. I think that I'm not good at understanding the salary cap stuff. I know a lot of you are. And I'm guessing you start getting taxed if you hit $188, and then you have your aprons, blah, blah, blah. And looking at the contract situation, first there's Giannis. He's got a big contract right now. $54 million next season, $58 the following, and then the last year of his contract, $63 million. Whew. De'Aaron Fox, set to make $37 next season. He's going to get extended by the Spurs. All signs point to that being $50 million a year. So we'll say 37, 50, 50. And last but certainly not least, Victor Wembanyama, still on his rookie contract, 13 this coming season, 17 the next season. Looking around at other number 1 draft picks that got extended recently, looks like the going rate's 40 plus a year. 40 to start, and then it's going to go up. So in year number 3, you've got Giannis making 63, you've got Fox making 50, you've got Wemby making 40 plus. That's $150 million just on those 3 players. Guys, we're not the Celtics, we're not the Lakers, we're not one of those teams that can get up over the threshold and into the first apron, second apron. The Spurs are not going to do that. It works. This does work. Don't get me wrong. This scenario works for years 1 and 2. And then what? When Wemby's rookie contract extension kicks in, then what? Are we looking at trading Giannis? Looking at trading Fox? I am absolutely would go nuts if we got Giannis. Believe me, I'm with you there. But like, okay, we're instantly a top 3 team in the Western Conference, maybe the best team in the Western Conference. But this is very short-term planning. This is win right now, one-hit wonder. Maybe you win this coming season or the next one, and then you got a whole lot of question marks after that on what's going to happen with the team. As a Spurs fan, I don't want to see us build something for the next 2 years or 3 years, because I'm also looking at what happens with our bench. Like, who are we going to have on the team when you have 3 players eating up so much salary? I think we would get a championship out of this. 1, maybe 2. And then the salary cap issue set in, and I don't want us to build a short-term winning. And I know we all agree Wemby wants to win now, but this doesn't seem the way to do it. I want the Spurs to build a dynasty, build around Wemby. Stephon Castle, I think Area 51, I think that could be something special. De'Aaron Fox, certainly, fantastic point guard. Whoever we get in the draft. Maybe we do pull in free agents, good players, great players, but not elite players. I don't think you can maintain a roster with the upcoming salary cap as a smaller market team. I recently did a video on the values of NBA franchises. We were in the bottom 10. I think we were ranked number 20 or 21. We just can't compete with Chicago, LA, Boston, New York. So I don't think it'll happen just for that reason. I'm curious to your thoughts, though. Do you think you're like, TSR, you're crazy, we'll make it work? Brian Wright will find a way. Words that have never been spoken on this channel, but hey, you never know. So really curious on what your thoughts are if this could happen. What do you think we would have to give up? I certainly think Stephon Castle is one of them. We got to match salary. Giannis is set to make 54 next season, so Devin Vassell is probably going to be part of the package. So you got Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, maybe Keldon. That's the 27. Yeah, that probably work. That does work salary-wise. Actually, we'd be going a little. Yeah, that would work salary-wise. I think Devin, Keldon, and Steph, and maybe slightly off the buck and put on somebody that's Giannis's brother. There you go, salary match. If we're a little over on our end, throw Thanasis in there. There's one more Antetokounmpo right in the league. Is he on the Bucks too? Throw him in too, and then we're all good. I'm really curious. How many first picks do you think we'll have to give up? I would say at least 4 first-rounders at a minimum. I mean, you look at some of the trades. And guys, this isn't... I see a lot of it around the interwebs. Let's trade Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell for Giannis. Oh, and Malachi Branham gets thrown in there too. And I'm like, you're taking all the players you don't want on the team and thinking the Bucks are going to pull a Nico Harrison and be like, whoa, that sounds great. Yeah, we'll take the guys they don't want. We'll take 2 first rounds. You guys can have it. They're going to want a ton. And of course, this is all pending on whether Giannis even wants to leave Milwaukee. I would have to think the future does not look bright there. With Damian Lillard going to be out next season, he's set to make, I think, like $50 million. So back-to-back first-round exits on top of that. I could see him requesting a trade, and Milwaukee probably needs to rebuild at this point. With him, yeah, it's not working anymore. Dame's out for the year. I'm starting to ramble a bit. I'm trying to think how this works. If Brian Wright, I know I'm getting a little long-winded here. If Brian Wright can pull off a De'Aaron Fox type trade where maybe we do trade some of the guys that I mentioned, Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, picks, etc., and keep Stephon Castle, then I probably would be ecstatic about it, but I just don't know how it works once Wemby's rookie contract extension kicks in. If you guys know, please drop a comment. I know there's some salary wizards that watch the channel. I read every one of your comments. If you think this can work salary-wise and I'm wrong, please let me know. But that's my biggest question mark is what happens in year 3 when Wemby's rookie contract, and it's going to be a max rookie contract, obviously, is in place. And then Stephon Castle's rookie contract is going to come up shortly after that. Plus our lottery picks this year. There's a lot of question marks. Thank God I'm not a GM. Like, comment, subscribe, and the Harold Miner video will be up tomorrow, by the way. The Baby Jordan video I've been talking about a little here and there, that'll go up at 10 a.m. tomorrow. I wanted to do this video, so he'll go up tomorrow, and hope you enjoyed that one. Hope you enjoyed this one. Until next time, thank you, and as always, go Spurs, go.
Go Spurs, go, 'cause the Giants